Oh my goodness.
And I look younger than you, actually.
Yeah, I know.
I asked myself why you use the system.
Just keep it with you. So we're going to kind of fly through this because it's female stuff and it's pretty straightforward. Female reproductive organs, there are three: uterine tubes, uterus, and vagina. Your uterine tubes are your fallopian tubes. Uterine tubes are also known as fallopian tubes or oviducts. So if you see any of those three words, same thing. And this is where the big thing here is fimbriae. When the egg yolk separates and the oocytes floating around, the fimbriae are what's going to kind of hold on to it in the fallopian tubes.
Okay.
And it'll wait there to be fertilized. Fertilization must occur within 12 to 24 hours after ovulation. I think you can read all this. I just want to get through it. And then, like when the egg dies, so if the sperm doesn't come in contact within 12 to 24 hours, because the thing is, when this egg comes out, it's not vascularized. It's on the surface of the fallopian tube. While when it's nice and inside the follicle, it's able to be fed and everything. So when the tube dies, your body will try to, or when the egg dies, it'll try to flush it out. Yep. The embryo, so you have your oocyte, you have your zygote, then you have your embryo, which is when it is a baby, it's becoming.
It's like more than 3 months, right? It's always like.
It's what?
Embryo, like I think it's like more than 3 months.
Yeah, more than 3 months.
It's an embryo, so like.
Yeah, more than 3 months. The uterus, so the uterine tubes are the fallopian tubes. Your uterus is the organ that actually nourishes the embryo. It supplies nutrition and it removes waste. So that's pretty neat. We're gonna go here. So these are different definitions. The first one is, okay. So the vagina is a fibromuscular tube. Isn't that great? We have muscle. Because you gotta be able to do stuff with it. So then there are 3 sections of uterine tubes. And I don't think you need to know these too much, but if
So because like it's not really on a power conduct.
it isn't,
Yeah.
okay. Well, if you see a picture, 3 sections of the uterine tube right here. What is a uterine?
You know like what name it is. So.
Yeah, well, if you see it, there's infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus. Uterine tube wall, so these are the layers of the wall. Simple ciliated columnar. This moves the egg. Mucus secreting cells, so you need lubrication for the ovum or the egg. And then you also have a layer of smooth muscle to transport the ovum. So if that helps you kind of know, the structure or the anatomy causes a lot of these functions. The layers of the uterine wall is the endometrium, myometrium, and perimetrium, which is inner mucosa, the muscle, and the serosa. So it's pretty. Yeah, typically you'll have 3 layers. 3 functions of the vagina. Receives sperm for fertilization, transports uterine secretions outside the body, like blood from your period, and it transports the baby outside the body. 3 structures of the vagina: the vaginal orifice, or the hole, the fornices, which they are palpated for like cancer and things like that, and the hymen, which is the membrane of connected tissue and stratified squamous epithelium. And the hymen usually, if someone if someone's a virgin, their hymen will be intact. But if someone's not a virgin, then their hymen will be broken, which is normal. 3 layers of vagina: mucosal layer, muscular layer, fibrous layer. But the mucus, the vagina does not secrete mucus. The mucus in the mucosal layer comes from the cervix and vestibule. So if that's a question, if that's a true false one she likes to throw out, the vagina does not secrete mucus. Another name of female reproductive external organ, so just by looking at the outside, it's known as the vulva.
Vulva.
The vulva. So if you were just to, just look, that's vulva. But a lot of people think like the whole thing is the vagina. And the vagina is just a tube.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah. the vulva is the area that can be seen. So it's like that contains, and it's here, your labia majora, labia minora, the clitoris, vestibule, and the vestibular glands. So, and I think I'm just going to go past this, but you can.
Yeah.
Do you usually go back and look at them?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay. I don't want to be like.
Yeah, no worries. Like,
I just don't want to be talking about like orgasm when there's someone coming in.
another feeling is like,
Yeah. So these are the 3 functions of the vagina, and I think you just need to label what they are. You have orgasm, lubrication, and erection, which is interesting because typically you think the male erects.
we can see it. Like,
Yeah, because you can see it.
You can see it.
With orgasm, pleasure feeling, physiological, psychological release, rhythmic contractions of the perineum, uterus, and uterine tubes, because the female's body is trying to sweep up that sperm to the egg. Lubrication process utilizes vestibular glands. It uses mucus, and it helps with intercourse because doing that dry is not very nice. Erection. So females actually do erect, and this is due to the clitoris. The clitoris actually gets harder and bigger. And it also utilizes nitric oxide, just like with the penis. Nitric oxide dilates those arteries and compresses the veins, same kind of thing. And I think it's for pleasure feelings.
Yeah.
If you make it bigger, you can feel more kind of it,
Yeah, it's like,
which is neat.
so.
Yeah. And then in addition, the vagina actually dilates and elongates. Yeah, so the vagina actually gets bigger. So the male gets, bigger and longer. The female actually gets bigger so it can actually receive it. Sexual stimulation utilizes parasympathetic impulses. So you think, parasympathetic, rest and digest, is sexual stimulation. We went through a lot of this with the male, so I think it's, and that's the end of that. Ooh, that was fast. Let's see, do I want to separate these? Yeah, that was like 7 minutes. Yeah, we can continue with the female, worksheet number 6. Because this is like overview, what we just did. Worksheet number 6. Here we go. Okay. So this worksheet's going over female hormonal control, mammary glands, and birth control. So the hormones, which we covered, from the hypothalamus, you have a gonadotropin-releasing hormone. This is a cyclic release based on the menstrual cycle, stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete follicle-stimulating and luteinizing hormone. Follicle-stimulating hormone produced by the anterior pituitary gland causes ovarian follicles to mature. Ovarian follicles are the eggs. I'll zoom in a little more. Luteinizing hormone causes ovulation and the formation of the corpus luteum. And the corpus luteum is formed when the oocyte detaches. Oocyte detaches, corpus luteum is left over. Luteinizing hormone. I'm going to scroll down. And then in the other ones from the other hormones from the ovaries, adrenal cortices, and the placenta when pregnant are estrogen, progesterone, and androgens. Estrogens thickens the endometrium, develops female secondary sex characteristics, so it's like hair growth and fat distribution. And then the enlargement of accessory reproductive organs. Accessory reproductive organs are like boobs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or breasts.
Breast, yeah.
Progesterone vascularizes the uterus, so I like to think about progesterone, period, pain, and pregnancy. Okay. Progesterone, pain, period, pregnancy. It stimulates uterine changes. Uterine changes means the uterus, because the uterus is where all the blood kind of gets blood in. And also, it affects the mammary glands, because, period, pain, blood, progesterone, mammary glands, when you're pregnant, they get bigger. And then lastly, androgen, andro in Latin, A-N-D-R-O, means man. So we get hair growth in the pubic and axillary, and sometimes even up here with some females. I mean, every once in a while, I'll get a little, like, it's normal. So that hair growth is, even though that's kind of masculine, comes from androgens. And also androgens are for the female sexual response. So someone being really like stimulated, I blame either androgens and estrogen. And in low concentrations, it forms a female body type. So in low concentrations. In high concentrations, you'll form a male.
Yeah, that's why they said,
Yep.
if you're look like man who is too much the androgen.
Yeah, it's because you're androgens. So I just went through, like, this is a whole, a whole thing, yeah. See, so progesterone, prepping, also known as like period, vascularization, prepping, pregnancy, placenta, period, pain. Pregnancy and period equals pain. That's great. We live for pain. So that's some hormonal stuff. Next, we're going to talk about breast development. Mammary glands are modified sweat glands. They're like sweat glands, except for they're modified. Really neat. Basically, the way that they're formed, you have alveolar glands. And I know there's alveoli in the lungs. This is just the breast.
Okay.
But in the breast, you have alveolar glands. The glands then secrete milk into alveolar ducts, and then they go into lactiferous ducts. The ovarian hormones, which includes, your ovarian hormones, estrogen, primarily progesterone as well. This stimulates glandular development in the female. So when someone goes through puberty, they also get breast development. And since this is talking about stuff and everything, I put contraception in here, which includes just basically ways of how do you not get pregnant. So mechanical barriers, condoms, diaphragm, cervical cap. Basically, a mechanical barrier is a barrier that will prevent sperm from getting to the uterus and the uterine tubes. Coitus interruptus. Coitus means like intercourse, and interruptus is like interrupted. So this is when people are doing it, and then the male withdraws before, and he ejaculates. But it's said that this is not very effective.
Yeah, it's not very effective.
Because it can just, get out later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another non-effective method is rhythm, which is just when you just don't have sex for 2 days and then one day, which is really bad because the female body does so many. You can't predict it.
No, there's no accident actually. You just have no idea what's happening, but it happens.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, just take care of yourself,
the next thing you have is chemical barriers, and this is basically, sperm need alkaline substance to survive. Chemical barriers are there to kill sperm. This includes jellies, foams, creams, and these are most effective when used with a mechanical barrier, so you need kind of both. Other hormonal contraceptives, this intramuscular IM, methoxyprogesterone acetate, protects against pregnancy for 3 months, prevents maturation, releases secondary oocyte. So it stops your oocytes from maturing. It basically shuts off your cycle.
Yeah,
So which is kind of, I don't agree with it, but whatever. It's my hormones, not anyone else. Intrauterine device kind of looks like a T. And this interferes with fertilization and implantation of blastocytes by inflaming the uterus. So you inflame the uterine tissue, and you can't get fertilized then, which sounds like, why do you want? It sounds painful.
It sounds real painful.
Periods are painful enough. So there's that. Next you have, combined hormonal contraceptive. So a contraceptive is something that prevents pregnancy. And basically they put a bunch of hormones in a pill. This is the pill. This disrupts the normal follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone formation by administering estrogen and progesterone. So basically, estrogen and progesterone are in a pill, and this stops everything, and then the cervical mucus will thicken, also to prevent sperm from passing. So this one is like the most, I think, yeah, probably. But then there's some people that are like, oh, don't take the pill doesn't work. So. Sterilization methods. So this is like for people that get their tubes tied. For the and this is vasectomy in the males because it's vas deferens are cut and tied. This prevents sperm from being added to the semen. So the male will still produce semen. No sperm. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of telling you this. I'm not really because.
I understand that. Don't worry about it.
And then in the female, you have tubal ligation. This is when it's cut and tied. Prevents the egg from passing to the uterus. So basically, with getting your tubes tied, you just prevent the area for the sex cell to get through.
It's only way, actually,
If you want, but it's permanent. Well, unless it comes to sometimes they fuse back together.
I've heard news like someone just had like, I said, what? She's still pregnant. It's like, you better.
Oh gosh. So that's that.
That's it.
I'm just gonna open up the reproductive disorders and I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I think it's just definitions.
Yeah, it's just definition. Just memorize it. So.
Yeah, and then, I'll just do that really fast. And then we can go through we went through the menstrual cycle. So prostatitis, bacterial infection in the prostate causes inflammation. The prostate's that donut-shaped gland.
Yeah.
Actually, I should start a new one.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Let's see, these are someone's. Okay, you can come in.
Coming. We'll just
Probably just about. We're packing up, I think.
Yeah, we're packing up.
We didn't make it.